Remember that episode in season 10 of The Simpsons when Lisa joins Mensa and then they end up taking over as mayor of Springfield in order to improve the lives of the idiot residents? But it all goes horribly wrong when they want to ban sports and stuff. And we all learned that actually maybe having the smartest people in charge of government wouldn't necessarily create the utopia that we thought it would. Anyway, do you also remember how in 2016, Donald Trump became president of the United States and immediately began dismantling everything science-related, like making climate change into a dirty word and firing a bunch of researchers, amongst other things? And remember how this stoked a lot of people to call for more intellectuals and scientists to run for public office, because we not only need to reprioritize governmental funding of scientific research, but also we need more evidence-based policy in general. Perhaps you see where this is going. I've always been one of those people who is slightly more inclined to vote for someone with either a scientific background or a strong vocal support for the sciences. It's not my number one priority, but all things being equal otherwise, sure. I'd probably prefer someone in government who is more likely to respect scientific consensus. And so back in 2016, I was supportive of organizations that stepped up to focus on making the next election better. That included the newly founded at the time 314 Action, a political action committee or PAC focused on getting scientists elected to office. PACs are nonprofits that fundraise for specific political candidates or specific causes, which they then donate to achieve their means. And yes, it's called 314 because those are the first three digits of pi. Because nerds, am I right? The founder, Shaughnessy Naughton, told the Washington Post in 2016 that 314 Action would only help Democrats because Republicans as a party had rejected the scientific consensus on climate change entirely, making it nonsensical for a science-based organization to hand them more money. Makes sense. You could argue that a Republican who does have respect for science could change the party and therefore the country for the better. But as of 2024, that point is moot. Even if a pro-science Republican did manage to get into office, they would immediately be beaten to death by a MAGA horde for practicing witchcraft by wearing glasses or something. So in reality, it would just be a waste of good funds. Despite 314 being officially founded in 2016, they also told the Washington Post that their first big success actually occurred the year prior when they say they helped get physicist Andrew Zwicker elected to the New Jersey State Assembly. That was a huge win because it was the first time a Democrat had ever won that seat, and it helped tip the assembly to a Democrat majority. Zwicker went on to win a seat in the New Jersey Senate, where he is still serving today. What a huge win. You know, that too reminds me of when Mensa first took over Springfield. They had some huge wins that led to Springfield being lifted up to number 299 on the list of America's 300 most livable cities, just edging out East St. Louis. That utopia was just in sight had they only been able to put aside their petty differences and stick to their original plan of focusing on intelligent, evidence-based policy. And so, just like Mensa, 314 Action has just 8 years later royally fucked up everything. Not by demanding that people have sex only once per 7 years like the Vulcans do, but by secretly accepting millions of dollars from a special interest group to shift focus from electing scientists to another goal entirely. In all of 2022, 314 Action spent about $1.7 million across all their campaigns. But in April of this year, they spent that same amount on just one candidate, Maxine Dexter, a physician running to serve Oregon's 3rd congressional district, which includes Portland. Why would they spend their entire budget on this one race? Sure, Dexter is a physician, which is in line with 314 Action's goal of getting more people with STEM backgrounds into office, but Portland is already solidly Democrat, and her primary opponent, Democrat Sushila Jayapal, is solidly pro-science. points. Medicare for all, reproductive health care, education, the Green New Deal. These are all the issues that she highlights as important to her campaign. Wouldn't 314 Action's entire budget be better spent on races where there's more at stake? Well, thanks to Ryan Grimm at The Intercept, we now know that the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or AIPAC, one of the most powerful lobbying groups in the United States, is using 314 Action to secretly launder money from Republicans to candidates that could unseat Democrats who are calling for Israel to agree to a ceasefire in their ongoing genocide of the Palestinian people. This is, you may note, not a pro-science position, especially considering all the hospitals and universities Israel keeps demolishing. AIPAC could have chosen to fund Dexter directly, but being mostly Republican and pro-genocide is a very unpopular position amongst Democrats right now. And so had they done that, her opponents could easily have used this information to destroy her campaign before it even launches. But since Dexter happens to be a physician, AIPAC is able to launder that money through 314 Action. In order to further hide AIPAC's hand in this matter, the campaign against Jayapal wasn't launched until April, which means that 314 Action legally does not have to reveal the source of their funding until late May, after ballots begin coming in and just one day before in-person voting. Far too late for Jayapal to expose this ploy to voters. Luckily, Grimm learned all this from 2 congressional representatives and a whistleblowing employee of 314 Action. And so now Portland voters can be better informed about which progressive they would prefer, the one who is pro-science and anti-genocide, or the one who is pro-science and absolutely refuses all efforts by anyone to gain any clarity on how she feels about a current ongoing genocide. Still, you might argue that the PAC is doing its job, supporting Democrat STEM political candidates. So what if this one is supported by Zionists and refuses to weigh in on one of the greatest unfolding world tragedies happening right now? Well, the whistleblower at 314 Action also told The Intercept that the organization had planned to do the same thing in another race, funneling more AIPAC money to the race in St. Louis to unseat Representative Cori Bush, another pro-peace progressive politician. The problem was that, first of all, The Intercept exposed their tactics in that first article. And second of all, they were having some trouble anyway because the Zionist candidate they wanted to support, Wesley Bell, is not in any way connected to the sciences at all. He's a lawyer, which is particularly funny since the 314 founder specifically told the Washington Post in 2016, "There's nothing in our Constitution that says we can only be governed by attorneys. Especially now, we need people with scientific backgrounds that are used to looking at the facts and forming an opinion based on the facts." Because of that, the whistleblower revealed that AIPAC was starting up a new PAC to funnel money through to that candidate, allowing 314 Action to almost truthfully tweet that they were not going to fund Cori Bush's opposition while completely ignoring all requests to simply disclose their donors. I guess 314 Action thought they could get away with all of this if they just mumbled a bit when they spoke. Like, please give us any money you can so we can fill these seats with Zionists. Sorry, did you say scientists or Zionists? Sure. Yes. Yes. It's all very sad because I did support 314 Action's initial mission, but I can no longer donate or encourage other people to donate to them. As I said, all things being equal, I'd probably vote for a scientist over a non-scientist, but unfortunately, all things are rarely equal, especially now. In this case, I'd rather give my money to organizations like Doctors Without Borders rather than maybe accidentally supporting a doctor who loves one particular border and would prefer aid to stop crossing it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you loved the video, please subscribe. And if you think the world could use more videos like this and you happen to have a few bucks laying around, head to patreon.com/Rebecca and join an awesome community of nerds like the people whose names you see on the screen right now. Thanks.